Past the golden forests of Elwyn and south of the rolling plains of the Westlands lies the largest expanse of jungle in the Eastern Kingdoms, and indeed in all of Azeroth. Denser than Ngoro crater and more diverse, more than a quarter of Azeroth's species find a home in its fronts. The diverse wildlife of the Vale, its intricacies and interwoven webs of predator and prey, are dependent on a constant cycle and balance of death and renewal. A single tree such as this is home to hundreds of creatures. Birds roost and nest in the upper canopy. Howler monkeys live and hunt in the lower reaches of the fronds. Its roots hold the burrows of the nocturnal, ground-dwelling Galanga vole, and this entire tree, its bark, branches, leaves and roots, are home to a countless myriad of insects, beetles, spiders and their larvae. Indeed, the death of a tree this size is also the starting gun of a race for light and the life it will bring. The young saplings, which have been for years starved of energy beneath the forest canopy, suddenly have the opportunity to reach for the light, growing as much as an inch a day in their quest to fill the gap. And should these shoots fail to reach the light before the surrounding trees cover the forest floor again, this old trunk will continue to be a source of nutrition and shelter for many years to come. But this fragile balance is under attack by our insatiable demand for chairs and tables, for mahogany bookcases for decking, for trebuchets and for seat rows. Although this logging camp only has a license to clear dead wood in the area.
This is the wrong camp.
What?
Look, we took the wrong trail. We should be north of this one.
So, which camp is this?
Oi, what are you doing here? Hey, you come from me. Come here,
In the north of Stranglethorn, south of the mountains that divide the jungle from the temperate forests of Duskwood, lone hunters dominate the food chain. Like the rest of the jungle, and indeed the rest of Azeroth, the daily struggle for food, for energy, is what dominates the days of the creatures that make the jungle their home. And whether it is a matter of finding the right flower or a tasty looking sound recordist, most of the hunt is carried out by the lone hunter. Top of these hunters, and indeed arguably top of the food chain here in the north of the Vale, are the tigers. These magnificent saber-toothed cats spend most of their adult life on their own, with a few exceptions of mating and fighting. Their territory is always closely guarded and closely fought for.
Cut.
Benny, what was wrong with that?
There's too many tigers.
What do you mean, too many tigers?
Look behind you.
Well, bloody hell, Benny, there's not much I can do about that. They're not interacting with each other. They're guarding their own territory. Now, this just happens to be where their territories meet. Well, okay, let's try over there. But we'll have to keep the panthers out of shot. Top of these hunters, and indeed arguably top of the food chain here in the north of the Vale, are the tigers. These magnificent saber-toothed cats spend most of their adult life on their own, with a few exceptions of mating and fighting. Their territory is always closely guarded and closely fought for. This particular female's territory borders the territory of another of Stranglethorn's most beautiful and fearsome big cats, the panther. Although a cousin of the tiger and sharing many of the same characteristics, panthers and tigers are in direct competition for the same land, for the same prey, and rarely appreciate the presence of each other.
Is that normal?
What now, Benny? Oh, by the lights. As you move towards the south of Stranglethorn, around the immense Gurubashi arena sponsored by the Steam Noodle cartel, the predators have found a different technique to prospering in this beautiful but hostile environment. These raptors have become social hunters. They live in an extended family grouping or flange, which allows some members to go out and hunt, or whilst others protect the family holdings. Or, as in the case with this mother and juvenile, guard a raptor nest from predators, careless wanderers, and anyone wanting a jumbo raptor egg omelette. These ancient creatures have developed social living over countless millennia. Each member of the flange is taught each role within the flange and so can slot into any task as the flange needs it. Some people have cruelly said that these magnificent creatures are an evolutionary throwback, but they have remained the top predator here for countless generations and have spread across Azeroth, whereas their contemporaries have all but died out. One thing is certain, and that is there are few creatures as expertly designed for the hunt. Their upright stance, their binocular vision and intelligence gives them the edge on most of their prey. Throw in the viciously sharp claws and tough hides, as well as the added bonus of their sexual hunting, and it's easy to see why these beasts are so feared in the element, and why I am keeping quite so still.
Cut. We're going to have to go again.
What now, Benny? This is just getting ridiculous now. King of the social hunters, with the exception of the sentient races, are the gorilla. Unlike their tree-dwelling cousins, these powerful creatures spend much of their time on the forest floor, although they can be prodigious climbers. We have been fortunate to get this close to a family group, and the experience is quite amazing. There is more meaning and mutual understanding in exchanging a glance with a gorilla than with any other animal I know. Their sight, their hearing, their sense of smell are so similar to ours that they see the world in much the same way as we do. We live in the same sort of social groups with largely permanent family relationships. They walk on the ground as we do, though they are immensely more powerful than we are. So if there were ever a possibility of escaping the sentient condition and living imaginatively in another creature's world, it must be with the gorilla. The male is an enormously powerful creature, but he only uses his strength when he is protecting his family, and it is very rare that there is violence within the group. So it seems really very unfair that we should have chosen the gorilla to symbolize everything that is aggressive and violent, when that is the one thing that the gorilla is not, and that we are. Oh, for f***'s sake.